Hello, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Market Mindset. Austin, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Andrew. Looking forward to getting to jump into a little sneak preview of our Energy Realism report. We've been teasing it over the last few weeks here. It's finally out, so if you're not signed up to our website, follow the link down below. Go sign up to the website. You're going to get access to that Energy Realism report, and it's a bit of a doozy. So we're going to kind of just tease it a little here and let people know what they're in for and what they can expect from this content from us.
Yes. And like always, I like to be a little bit controversial. So we've got some feedback already from some of the people that read it a bit early, and it's good. It's very good, but it's an intro into some of the ideas out there, and I think people are waking up that. And once again, I'll just reiterate because people should know by now, but we're for the green shift. We want to try new things. I'd love to see the wind turbines, the solar, all of it work. I want to see vanadium redox batteries. I want to see all of it work, but we're not there. We're not. I mean, and so there's so much, like all things in the mainstream news, there's so much misinformation, so much pitching, and a whole lot of we'll get there. And we kind of lay the groundwork in this report to some of that. We look at some of the issues in the past of the boondoggle, the frauds that came from the last run. We had a real push in the green sector, but also we look at it with some optimism too, because it isn't. I mean, it's such a political talking point now, and that makes it tough. And that we don't want to offend people one way or the other, but let's just say there's nuance to it, and somewhere in the middle, the truth lies. And without a doubt, our conclusion is obviously we need to have oil and gas no matter what, but we really need to have gas, and we need leadership out there that can solve not only the problem for Europe, but to do this, and it can be done in strict environmental ways with long-term vision and long-term goals. And that's kind of what we want to look at. We don't have a horse in this race to go, I'm not getting paid by an oil and gas company. I'm not getting paid by a green company to pitch one or the other. We're just looking for investments that are going to do well, supply and demand, but also to cut through a lot of the garbage, because it is the market mindset. It's a mindset. And part of this is critical reasoning. And we have the luxury of having a lot of time to analyze and look through things that other people don't.
Yeah, that's absolutely, and that's the approach we took with this, was stripping it back. And as much as we can have our own biases and what we think about certain political parties or ideas, and other people have their own preconceived biases as well, we wanted to look at just the facts and the data surrounding energy, surrounding the shift. How are these green solutions going to be met? And what aspects of mining are going to be critical to it? What aspects of oil and gas are going to be critical of it? Why has it been so exceptionally slow and just kind of dragging to get to this point? And kind of tying that all together, really looking at the overall picture and saying, all right, these are the pure facts. This is the direction that this can go. Yeah.
And it's important too, because people get caught up in the conversations on social media, and they'll say, for example, I read this book by Michael Schellenberger. It's amazing. And he's got all his data there. He's got every footnote. You can go look up every data piece that he puts in there. And it's very interesting. It tells a very convincing story that needs to be told. Now, immediately someone who's a hard environmentalist would say, no, he's just a shill for the oil and gas industry, blah, 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 blah. And that's a way to disparage someone and to stop you from looking, to even want to go read it. My advice to anyone is, if you have strong feelings about, say, the environment, and you believe from what you've been taught in school that that's fact, why not look at someone who has the exact opposite views and see, where are they coming from? Like, if it's that important to you, where are they coming from? And then poke holes in what they're doing, or to look and maybe go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. If you're not that pushed by it, don't comment on it. It's not a big deal. Yeah. But people are. They seem to be very motivated by a lot of things. And I was challenged by this because, as you know, we work with mining companies. We want this green future. We think it's great. When you start crunching down a lot of stuff, it's a transition. And once again, we'll take out the climate alarmism. I mean, that is, I don't care if this annoys people, but that's just fiction. There is some alarmism, possibly, but it's not what you think. And we'll leave it at that because I don't want to get people too concerned about things. But it isn't this idea that's being pushed out there. And unfortunately, the narratives on this, it follows very similar to the narratives on everything else. And that says a bit of something. So we need to find a place, and it's a good talking point because this goes towards social interaction, about government, about everything else, to find that in between. That middle path or that middle ground tends to be probably the best place to be. If we go out too far one way or too far the other, it's not good for society, for your own personal health, that opinionated. And I believe we're starting to see that now, the crux of the issues coming to fold, that the current energy crisis, the oncoming food crisis, and this is a bit of a slag, cutting fertilizer use immediately when there's a 500-year drought in Europe is basically saying we're trying to starve people. We have farmers in Canada saying you want us to cut all this, to kill heads of cattle, all to get a % or 2 of carbon reduction. We're not talking a lot. It's small. No. So, I mean, there's a time to wake up now and to realize there's a realism factor to all of this.
Yeah, and that was a point that we really wanted to highlight with this, and kind of show, all right, what of this is necessary, what of this can be done, at what rate can it be done? Because that's another huge aspect of this. If we're talking about some of these solutions that involve mining, let's say, for example, the amount of time it takes to simply just build a mine to obtain these metals, you have to have some sort of interim solution along the way. We've talked about this 1,000 times, but you can't just, and I think California has gone and done it, but they've said they're not going to allow the sale of non-electric vehicles after 2030. You can say that, but now is your power grid in California going to be able to actually support that? I highly doubt it.
100%.
So you have to give your head a shake. You have to be realistic. And that was a big purpose of what we wanted to do with this, was just to take the context and say, look, here's what we really can do. Here's how we can do it. And here's where we need to sort of temper our expectations or tweak our strategy a little bit.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I guess one final point too, because I like to give shout outs when they're due, is that, like, the Biden administration to say, we want to be able to control this supply chain more ourselves. We don't want to rely on China. And we see, there's some audits going on some of the publicly traded companies in the US. Hey, I'm all for it. I think it's good. Yeah. But also make no mistake, just because you're saying I'm going to create more solar panels, say First Solar, that was in the news today. They're going to build, they're going forward with big time plants, operations to build out solar panels. If you're not actually mining and getting the critical materials, say like silver and everything else that requires, or the battery metals to make these solar panels all function, you're just getting it from China anyway. Like, you're still getting the processed critical metals from there. So I appreciate this idea that the manufacturing of the panels should be done in the US. I love it. But we got to take it one further step backward and kind of wake them up and shake them and go, if all of the stuff that used to make that solar panel came from China, it still came from China. You're just assembling it in the US. So that's the thing we need to kind of finally hit home with people, is that the materials needed, we need to have a strong grip. So a shout out for doing that. But at the same time, let's give a real wake up and go, listen, it's time to really focus and grab and get realistic about a lot of this. And I think then people could come together and see that a lot of people they're in agreement with a lot of these things. And once people start freezing in Europe and possibly the US and start going a bit hungry, people are going to wake up real fast. And that's an unfortunate possibility and inevitability in some places in the world that are going to happen real soon. So let's leave it at that. And Austin, any last final comments?
No, I think it's a great, for I think for both of us when we were diving into this and setting, kind of the platform for this report, what it was going to look like. There was a lot of eye-opening stuff that we found out along the way. So I encourage anyone to check it out, to read it. Head over to our website, follow the links down below, and you can submit. If you're not signed up already, sign up and get access to the report right away. And also, I'm going to do the plug again because we're closing in. We're only like 28 subscribers away from 2,000. So if a few of you just, click that subscribe button, you're going to help us out. It's awesome. We really appreciate it. 2,000, I've said this before, it's our next big milestone kind of on the way as we grow this channel. So really appreciate it. Like the videos, share the videos to friends if you enjoy them. Share the report to a friend if you read it and enjoy it as well. We really appreciate it. It means the world to us. And yeah, we'll be back on Friday.
Yes, and it's free. I just want to reiterate, it's just an email, and we're not going to bombard you with stuff as well, and we never sell your email as well. So
I'm the least annoying person to send email.
No, you're an absolute joy and blessing to be around. But yes, it helps if you get this out. And listen, if you really dislike it, let me know. If you want to challenge a lot of it, that's great. Maybe you'll teach me something as well, because this is about a discussion and to get things going. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe. Let a friend know. If you've got a broker that has strong opinions one way or the other, or a friend, get them involved. We'd love to have a chat. Everyone have a great Wednesday, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Take care, guys.